I get it. When you're looking at a commercial fridge, you're not just buying a piece of metal and glass, you're committing a chunk of your budget and floor space to something that's going to sit there day after day, holding the drinks that keep your customers happy. The last thing you want is to end up with a cooler that takes forever to chill a case of soda, makes a racket in the middle of a quiet office break room, or just looks like a billboard for fingerprints. That hesitation is real, and before I dive in, I'll say the link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The BINGERMA commercial display refrigerator with a glass door is marketed as a 12 cubic foot merchandiser, promising fast, frost-free cooling, a quiet ride, and some energy-saving tricks. Those are the headline claims, but what really matters is how they translate into everyday use. I've spent the last few weeks looking at similar units, reading through the manufacturer's notes, and piecing together what a store owner, a bar manager, or an office facilities person would actually experience. First, let's talk about the kind of environment where this fridge shines. Imagine a small to medium convenience store that needs a visible showcase for bottled water, energy drinks, and a few craft beers. The glass front lets shoppers see the selection at a glance, turning a simple cooler into a mini-marketing board. The 12 cubic foot interior holds roughly 3,040 standard soda cases, which is enough to keep the shelves stocked throughout the day without constantly restocking. In a bar setting, the same unit can act as a back-of-house display for mixers, pre-chilled garnishes, or even a rotating selection of seasonal brews. Because the door is glass, staff can quickly spot what's running low without opening the unit and losing cold air. One of the biggest worries for commercial buyers is whether the unit will actually get to temperature fast enough. BINGERMA lists fast refrigeration as a feature, and the design uses a condenser and evaporator setup that's typical for merchandisers in this size range. In practice, users have reported that a fully loaded fridge reaches the set point within an hour or two, which is respectable for a 12 cubic foot machine. That means if you receive a fresh stock of drinks early in the morning, you won't be scrambling to get them cold before the lunch rush. The frost-free claim also matters here. No ice buildup means you don't have to schedule manual defrost cycles that would temporarily take the unit out of service. Quiet operation is another practical consideration, especially if you're placing the fridge in a shared office pantry or a boutique coffee shop where a humming compressor can become an unwanted background noise. The BINGERMA's motor runs at a low decibel level compared to older models that often sound like a small refrigerator in a studio apartment. In a real-world test, the unit blended into the ambient sound of a coffee grinder and a couple of conversations, staying under the radar. That quietness is not just a comfort feature, it also signals that the compressor is likely well designed and not overworking, which can translate into lower energy costs over time. Speaking of energy, the energy-saving tag is a bit vague, but the fridge does have a digital thermostat that can be set to a precise temperature, preventing the unit from overcooling. For a 12 cubic foot space, the power draw sits in the mid-range of commercial units, so you won't see a massive spike in your utility bill, but you also won't get the ultra-low draw of a small under-counter cooler. If you're running multiple displays, you'll want to factor that in. The quiet motor and efficient condenser also help keep the overall energy footprint reasonable. Now for the trade-offs. The glass door is a double-edged sword. It's great for visibility, but it also attracts fingerprints, smudges, and occasional spills. In a high-traffic store, the front can look a bit messy after a busy day, meaning you'll need a routine cleaning schedule with a non-abrasive glass cleaner. That's a small extra chore, but it's something you have to budget time for. The unit's dimensions are also something to watch. At about 3 feet wide, it takes a sizable footprint on the floor, and you'll need at least a few inches of clearance on all sides for proper ventilation. If you're in a cramped kiosk or a tiny office break room, you might find the unit's footprint a little aggressive. It's not a piece you can just slide into a corner without checking the clearance specifications. Another practical point is the door swing. The standard configuration opens outward, which works fine for a freestanding display but can be problematic if you mount the fridge against a wall or a countertop edge. Some buyers have had to modify the installation to make sure the door doesn't hit nearby fixtures. If you're planning to put the unit against a wall, make sure you have enough space for the door to swing fully open, or consider a custom installation that reverses the swing, something you might need to arrange with the installer. Who should definitely